Today, how to make a puzzle cube in OnShape. So OnShape, if you don't know, is free CAD software that anybody can use. It's online, it's easy to use, and I'm just going to show you some basic stuff with it. So we're making some puzzle cube shapes. They're pretty easy to make. I've already done this once already, obviously, because I 3D printed this out, but I'm just going to walk you through really quickly how to make these parts, and you can hopefully use that to make your own parts. So I'm just going to create a new document here, and we're going to call it Puzzle Cube, for obvious reasons. And we're going to start out with this basic piece here. It is really simple to make this stuff. I'm going to hit Sketch. Every time you want to make a new part, you start with a sketch. I highly recommend doing the right-clicking and clicking on View, Normal to Sketch Plane. That'll bring that up for you. So it's like drawing on a piece of paper. You know, you're not going to draw on a piece of paper at a weird angle. You want to draw that from straight on. So, and then I hit the P key here, and that's going to hide all the extra planes that we don't need. You need to work in inches, so if you need to change your units, there's the little menu button up here, workspace units, and then change that to inch. I should have done that beforehand, but obviously I didn't. Now I need to go back into my sketch and edit that again pretty easily. So I'm going to click on the rectangle tool here, click and drag, and it was supposed to be on the origin. I don't know why that didn't snap to that. Going too quick here. There we go. And then to dimension this, so you see I've got the two areas here that are being dimensioned for me. If I just kind of hover over one of them, it'll let me type in there. The cubes that I'm designing this off of are actually 0.75 inches. So you can just type that in there. So 3 of them lined up, obviously 2.25. And since I am making this piece here, I'm going to start with this kind of profile view. Here we go. And again, put some dimensions in there. Hit enter. And up here, 1.5 this time. There we go. And I'm just going to trim out this middle part. There's 1, there's 2, gone. Alright, and we're going to, well, first of all, notice here now that this has turned blue. That means it's not constrained properly. So I'm just going to push D for dimension. Otherwise, I can click the button right here. Click, done, enter. Okay. Do the same for that side. There we go. Now we got it all constrained. Obviously, this was the wrong one. Just going to delete that. And then we can extrude this, giving it that third dimension. Again, our cubes are 0.75. There we go. Now, on this piece, I've got it's an L shape, and it's got the little kind of extrusion coming up from the top here. So, to do that, we're going to click on the face, start a sketch on it, and I'm going to view normal to sketch plane again. Click on the rectangle tool. Start in the upper corner here. I can drag this across. It'll snap to the midpoint here, making this really simple, 0.75, 0.75. Hit escape here, close that tool out. You can see it's completely constrained already. So that's really easy to do that part just simply because it has the midpoint that I can snap to. You're starting with the corner, you're going across. So everything is constrained because it has all these relations in there. And you can see those popping up as I move my mouse around. Alright, so I'm going to extrude this again, 0.75, and okay, and there we go. There's my first part done already. So down here, OnShape has a tab system that they use to kind of keep track of what parts are in your document. This is one big advantage over SolidWorks, where in SolidWorks you have multiple documents for your assembly, where in OnShape you can have, as you can see already, it automatically includes an assembly, but then if I click the plus sign here, I can do new part studio, or create part studio, and I can actually have multiple parts within the one document. I absolutely love that feature about OnShape. So I got one piece done. Moving on to the next one. The next one is just a simple straight piece, so it'll take me like 5 seconds to do this. So top, sketch, I'm going to view normal to, hide my other planes, grab my rectangle tool, there we go, 0.75, 0.75, and then I'm just going to hit extrude and 2.25. Done. There's my part. So that's done. Next piece is this. So it's 2 across, and it's got that L shape. And as you're doing this, you really want to kind of find the easiest way to do it. So for this one, I can just do the profile view like this. So again, an L-shaped thing, and then I just extrude it. So if you can find a way to do it where you only have to do one extrusion, it's golden. It's perfect. That's what you want to do. You know, you want to work more efficiently. So view normal, hide the planes. So up here, 1.5 and 0.75, and then we need one more here. And again, we can use that midpoint right here to kind of snap that, and then we can just type in the second dimension there. Done. Get my little scissors out here for some trimming. There we go. And you can see, once again, this is not constrained up there. So I'm just going to throw some dimensions on that. Done. Alright, and once again we extrude. This time it's too tall, so, and that's TWO, not TOO. So 1.5 would be 2 cubes tall. And there we go, done. That's part 3. Part 4 is this one. So again, trying to think about how you can do this with one extrusion. Should be pretty easy. You just do the profile view like this. So I'm just going to do sketch, top plane again, view normal, hide those other planes, and start drawing. So, whoops. I've got the edge piece over on this side, 0.75 wide, and 2.25. So that's that top part up here. And I'm going to do the bottom part here. So 0.75 here, and then 1.5 down here. And then from that, it goes up 1 cube on top there. And we can just do this, find that midpoint again, pull it up, and 0.75. Now, you're probably wondering, can I do this without trimming in there? Because that messes up my constraints. Yeah, of course you can. Let me show you. So we can do extrude again. And so right away, it actually does select all 3 areas. I'm a little surprised by that because we have 3 separate shapes here. So if it didn't have that, I can actually show you. So sometimes if you have more than one shape, and OnShape may not know what you want extruded exactly, and then you can select those different areas within the sketch. So it's another way to do that. There we go. Looks good. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. That means I got 1 piece left here. So I'm going to create one more part studio here. And the last piece is a little more complex. I wouldn't say it's bad though. If you look a little closer at it, you can kind of get the idea of what this is shaped like. So this is a little lower in here. And then, so this is 3 high. This is 2 high. This is just 1 high. But if we look at it from the top, it's got a nice shape like this. So now in OnShape, this is a little tricky. It's not too bad, but let me just show you what to do here. And I'll talk about the trickier, I'm going to use my air quotes, tricky part here in a minute. Hide my planes. And again, same as usual. So we're going to do 0.75 and 1.5. And then we're going to come to the midpoint here. 0.75. Okay, so that's going to be this shape here. Just that simple L shape. We're not doing anything else yet. So we're just basically creating the bottom part here. Whoop. There we go. And to do that, we're going to do the extrusion, obviously. 0.75. That looks good. Okay. So now on here, I can start to, on this face again, create the taller piece and the shorter piece. See if I can get that to go away for you. There we go. So sketch on this face again, and view normal, and just like that. And then I can, now we only want to do, at least for this one, I'm only going to do one part at a time. So I'm going to do the taller one first. So this would be 1.5 extruded from there, because it's 2 cubes on top of that. There we go. And then I'm going to do the second one here. So again, sketch. Now here's where we end up actually with a little issue. And I'm going to show you what the issue is. Okay, so right now I put this square on here. Use the rectangle tool. Clicked on the corner, and you can see that this here shares a corner. I'm going to hit OK on this, or extrude it, sorry. And you can see already that it's having some issues. And if I were to just hit OK on this, there we go, you would see it doesn't even show up. I'm going to go back in here. So the issue here is that there is a point that it's trying to turn into a line here, and for some reason it doesn't like to do that. In SolidWorks it calls it zero thickness geometry. So basically you're trying to do an extrusion. It's a 3-dimensional shape, but it basically is creating a line in here. So in the real world, this might work out, but not exactly. It's really hard to explain. I think the easiest way that someone explained it to me was, when you're extruding, you're taking a 2-dimensional shape and turning it into 3 dimensions. When you have a corner connected like that, let's delete this for a second. When you have a corner connected like this, you have a 1-dimensional shape, or a point, and you're trying to turn it into 2 dimensions. And SolidWorks or OnShape or whatever you're using doesn't typically like to have a 2-dimensional object in a 3-dimensional extrusion. So that was kind of an explanation given to me. I don't know if it makes complete sense, but we'll go with it, because I don't have any better way to explain it, to be honest. So what can we do to fix this, you're probably thinking? Well, let me show you. We've got our shape here, and it's locked in at the corner here. So we're just going to take that and we're going to delete it. We're going to start again with the corner rectangle. I'm going to start at the same corner again, because these corners were fine. It was just this one that messed this up a little bit. So I'm going to bring this across. We are going to snap to the other line here, but I'm not going to do it to the corner. If you do it to the corner over there, if you snap it to the corner up here, that's when you get those issues. So I'm going to bring it down here. All right, so this one's 0.75, or at least it should be. I don't know why it's popping up like that. Okay, now it's telling me it's over constrained. Okay, we'll take that off then. Okay, so we're going to dimension this, and we're going to do this side. That's the one that needs it. And instead of doing 0.75 like this, I'm actually going to do 0.749. So I'm taking off, let's see, 10th, 100th, 1,000th of an inch. So visually, that's not going to be much. Even if you 3D print it, you hardly notice it. If you can see that there's just a tiny little gap in there, and you'll see on OnShape that tiny little gap also shows up in there. If I zoom way in on this, you can see that yes, there is actually that tiny little gap right here. Now I'm zoomed really far in, so here's like normal, and it doesn't look like it. If you wanted to, you could maybe put another 9 on this. I don't know if it makes a difference, because now it rounds it, and you can see, oh, the gap is still there. Okay, so the second 9 would work. I could probably do the extrusion now properly. Nope, doesn't like it. Okay, so we gotta have just the 1 9. So I gotta come back into my sketch here, view normal, and change that to, come on, just the 1 9. Otherwise it rounds it too much and it still does not like it. Alright, so we extrude 0.75, and I like to rotate to see what's going on here. And there we go. Now it's good. And again, you're going to have that teeny tiny little gap in there, but for this puzzle cube project, it's not a huge deal. Let's see if I can even see it. Just barely. There it is. You can see that white line through the middle in there. There it is. So, but yes, that is the basics of creating these pieces in OnShape. And like I said, I really like this program. I also like to make my pieces different colors. If you want to do that, you can come into each piece. On part 1 here, if you right click, you can do edit appearance, and you can change the colors of those. So I'm going to do that really quick here. Alright, the last one I'm going to leave the default color. So we got lots of different colors here. You probably saw me change those. So the next thing is we need to assemble these. Assembly is a little different compared to how you would do this in SolidWorks. There we go. But it's still not too hard, once you get used to it at least. So again, OnShape includes an assembly tab right when you start it up. Not too surprising, they like to be kind of helpful like that. And all you need to do when you get here into the assembly tab is click the insert button. Now, because we have these all in the same document, we don't have to go looking for them. We don't have to worry about are they saved in the right place or anything like that. If we ever need to move this file to a different folder, it all goes with it. And I've had issues with SolidWorks where if I try to move it to a different folder, then it doesn't know where to look for the assembly pieces. And it's just frustrating because it's not what I want to be using my time on. I want to be using my time on drafting. So I'm going to just click on a part, and then you come over on your workspace, click to place it, and we keep going with that. Alright, I'm just going to move these out a little bit so I can kind of get a better visual on them. Okay. And then you can just hit the check mark here to say that you're done inserting parts, because we got our 5 parts. Alright. I'm going to take a quick break here and figure out how exactly my cube goes together, because that's me. I'm not super great with these puzzle cubes sometimes. Alright, I've gotten it all together, thank goodness. So, now I can start assembling. So right now I can see that this piece here is already in the correct orientation compared to how I want to assemble the whole cube. So it just fits in there. So I'm going to take this part here and make it my fixed part, my reference part. Unlike SolidWorks, when you're inserting these parts, they're not always there's not always a fixed part. You actually have to tell it to fix something. So I'm going to take this part here. You can right click on it and we can fix it. Now it's not fixed currently to any specific geometry. It's not like locked into the origin or the planes or anything like that. But again, this project, you really don't need to worry about that. We're just trying to get it all put together. So I've got my first piece done. That's easy. My next piece here, I can see on my puzzle cube, I've got, there we go. This piece kind of fits in there very easily. So I'm going to take this piece and connect it to this one. Now, like I said, it's pretty easy to do this once you know how to do it. So it took me a while to figure it out, and I figured that the planar mate up here is the easiest way to do this. And I can just click on that. And then it asks, okay, how do you want to connect this? And OnShape uses something called mate connectors, and you can add mate connectors if you wish. I didn't find it too necessary. If I come to the bottom plane here, you can see that it shows me a bunch of different snap points that I can click on here that would all be useful in different ways. But right now, if I come to the bottom of this one, you can see that it has similar snap points. So I want to figure out where exactly these would line up on this. Should be pretty apparent that this one here could line up on here. And we can click those two. So right away, you can see that it looks like it's great. One thing you want to remember when you are mating things, though, is even though you've got one mate down there, it doesn't mean that this is going to be locked in. So right now I've got just that one mate, and you can see that this still moves around quite a bit. You can also probably see that it moves around differently. So we're going to reline this up here. So we got to find some more mate points here. that to line this up. So I'm going to come on this side here. I'm going to do the bottom one, and then I know that that should line up with this one here. There we go. And again, that should lock it in just a little bit more. So we can try moving this around, and you can see it still moves a little bit. So let's try this one and this one. See if that does it. All right, so I need one more from the looks of it. Let's try the corner here. There we go. Now, I'm not sure why these are showing up with errors over here. I've done everything proper, but at this point, I'm not going to worry about it because this doesn't move anymore, which is what we're going for. So, all right. So that's those two pieces locked in. The next piece here, let's do this big one here. Okay, so I've got these two put together like this, and then this one sits on here like this. So that is going to be the big red piece here. I need to rotate it around from the looks of it. So it took me a while to figure out how to rotate stuff in OnShape. I don't know why. I guess wasn't paying attention or something. But if you click on the shape, it brings up this kind of coordinate system here, and the circles at the top allow you to rotate it. So I can rotate this 90 degrees. Oop. You can also type it in there. There we go. And if it's not 100% perfect, once you start putting those mate relations on there, then that should help as well. So there's another 90 degrees. There we go. So that looks to be... Let me just do one more rotation here. Oh, wrong way. There. I believe that's how it should be. Yep. All right. So this one's actually a little easier. No, actually, maybe not. Well, let's try it out. So we click on planar mate here. Let's do this edge here. And we'll do this one here. Should work. Yep. There we go. Starting to look good. But still it moves around. So let's do this top one here, and make sure we're on the right face. There we go. That one should do it. And we probably need one more. Yep. So you can see we're still moving in one direction. Let's do... It's going to be a tricky one. Let's do this corner here and this one here, because we want those faces to be lined up like that. So that should do it. There we go. So a lot of times when I'm mating things together like this, I want to ask myself what should be touching or what should be lined up. So that last one I just did was obviously these two faces, and those should be lined up. So that's why I did that. The other ones I did what should be touching. So next piece is going to be this one. That one where we had to do the 7.49. And that one goes up on here. So we do need to rotate it a little bit. Maybe a lot of bit. There we go. And then all the way around. There we go. Perfect. And this one sits on here like that. Obviously you can't just line it up like that though. So let's put this together. Let's see here. So we can start with this plane here. We're going to go that front edge, and that should be lined up. See, now this is where it gets a little tricky. That front edge point where I want that to connect isn't actually there on that piece because it's different, kind of a different orientation. So let's try this again. We'll do the top corner this time. And then the top corner over here on those two planes. There we go. Obviously, it'll still move. Let's pull it back here. There we go. So let's do this bottom corner here and this corner over here. That should work. And then it should still move. Yep. We'll do, these two faces should be lined up, so we'll do the corners there. Here we go. And that should be locked in. Yep. Looks great. All right, last piece. And just need to rotate it up. You know, let me show you a quick. I'm gonna do it, bro. Take a couple degrees off here. There we go. So you can see it's not perfectly lined up, and I did that just to show you that it is very easy to. When you mate these things together, they kind of line themselves up. So even if I went like that, so it's not perfectly lined up. Obviously, it's not square to that, but it really doesn't matter because when you do your mates, it lines it up for you. So if you got it close, that's great. There we go. So we can pull this over here. Oh, you know what? I just realized this is in the wrong orientation. So we're gonna delete that last mate we put on there. And I gotta flip this around a little bit. Sorry. Close enough. Alright, so that's not right either. Now we're right. Like I said, I'm not great at these puzzles sometimes. Sorry about that. Alright, so we're going to do mates here. Top corner again. Top corner here. Those two faces should be touching. Perfect. Again, it still moves a whole bunch. So I know that I want that on here. That should be lined up. Sometimes you'll see it jump back like that. Really depends on which piece you click first. But it's not a huge deal. It'll pop back to where it was constrained to. Let's zoom in a little bit here so I can get the right face. There we go, the bottom. Click there. And then the top of this in the corner. And boom, done. Alright. So, that looks good. Everything looks great. Just gotta cancel that. Alright, and that's it. That is how you can make a puzzle cube and assemble it. And it looks fabulous. Hope this helped you. Have a great day.